get started. To all those that are here and those that are watching around the world, good morning and welcome to Hollywood. Today, this is certainly a good place to be. My name is Jerry Newman, and I am the chair of the board of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all here to the globally iconic Hollywood Boulevard, where for over 60 years we have brought the luminaries from the entertainment industry to this boulevard to forever put their name in stars and become part of the number of stars that we have on the Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame. Today is no different. We are welcoming one of the great luminaries of television, someone who has written some of the greatest shows that we have ever seen. And today we are welcoming to the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Michael Schur. So to kick things off and to run the program today, I'd like to welcome to the microphone the President and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber, Mr. Steve Nissen. Take it away, Steve.
Good morning. How is everyone doing? All right, as Jerry said, my name is Steve Nissen. I have the honor and the privilege of being president and CEO of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. First, let's give a big shout out to our fans all around the world who are watching this on our live stream presented by our media partner, Variety. And I also want to thank the El Centro Apartments because, this is a magical street in a magical place, but real people live and work here, and they allow us to occupy the street and do these wonderful ceremonies. So thank you to El Centro Apartments and the residents. The Hollywood, yeah, they can hear you. The Hollywood Walk of Fame recognizes achievement in the categories of motion pictures, radio, live theater, live performance, sports entertainment, and television. Today, in the category of television, we honor Michael Schur. As he receives star number 2,812 on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Now, before we invite our speakers, Michael has a few friends who will come up and talk, but before they do so, let me tell you a little bit about our honoree. This critically acclaimed comedic titan created last year's hit Netflix series, A Man on the Inside. Starring Ted Danson, who you will hear from a little bit later. It's currently in production on its second season. Michael also created multiple hits under his long-running deal at Universal Television, including The Good Place. I said this is a real street. Not everybody gets their mufflers fixed, so we hear real traffic. Parks and Recreation. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Michael also currently serves as executive producer on Max's critically acclaimed Hacks, starring Jean Smart. And by the way, Jean Smart's star is just a few feet away from where Michael's star will be unveiled today. Michael Schur made his move to Hollywood when he joined NBC's hit The Office, where he spent 4 years as a writer, producer, and actor. His first... And for those of you watching on live stream who didn't quite catch it, that last word evoked a lot of laughter. It wasn't intended to be a laugh line. His first TV writing job began in 1998 on Saturday Night Live, where he spent 7 seasons, including 3 as the producer of Weekend Update with Tina Fey and Jimmy Fallon, and that marking a 20-plus year legacy at NBC Universal. Coming up, He will be reuniting with Amy Poehler, who you'll also hear from later today, on the new comedy series Dig for Peacock. Michael and Amy will co-write the pilot episode and executive produce the series with Amy Poehler set to star. Throughout Michael's successful career in Hollywood, he has earned multiple awards, including Peabody Producers Guild, Writers Guild, and Primetime Emmy Awards. We also, when Walk of Famers are chosen, the committee also asks about the honorees' philanthropic work. Michael has done much to contribute to our community and society. He's a writer, so it makes sense that Michael has written a book, but he didn't just write a book. He's dedicating all the proceeds from the book to charity. And the book has a really cool name, How to Be Perfect, the correct answer to every moral question. It's a book I'd like to read. I expect to learn something. Michael's philanthropy work also includes the Los Angeles Regional Food Bank, as well as several other charities, International Rescue Committee, and something near and dear to my heart, the Brennan Center for Justice. So before we bring you on stage, Michael, we have two friends who would like to say a few words about you. First, our first speaker is an award winner and one of Hollywood's most versatile and sought-after talents, with credits that include actress, writer, director, executive producer, New York Times best-selling author, and founder of Paper Kite Productions. Most recently, as I said, she announced her new comedy series, Dig for Peacock, reuniting her with our honoree. And this year, she launched her chart-topping video podcast, Good Hang. And we all enjoyed her work. It was an 8-season run, I think, on Saturday Night Live. And she continues to tour with her then co-star Tina Fey for the second leg of their popular Restless Legs tour, a comedy show celebrating their 30 years of friendship. Please welcome a Walk of Famer in her own right, Amy Poehler.
Thank you very much, and thank you for honoring my request to have the photographers in front of me and all of the writers behind me. My name is Amy Poehler. It is an honor to be here as the great Mike Schur receives his well-earned star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And to be honest, today's to-do really feels like a scene from Parks and Rec, one of the many great shows that Mike created, a show that continues to improve people's mental health over 15 years after it first aired. And I do feel like if Mike and the writers here were working on this scene, the way it would go is a jet-lagged Leslie Knope, played by me, would come up here full of funnel cake from her early morning stroll on the Santa Monica Pier. She would come up to the podium and she would want to go over the rules and regulations of what it takes to get a star. So just very quickly, I would like to remind everyone that the Walk of Fame committee has made its selection, and then the Hollywood Chamber Board of Directors votes to approve the star. And then for a final approval, the names are submitted to the City of Los Angeles' Board of Public Works Department. And all decisions are final and entirely within the Chamber's discretion and subject to change at any time without notice. Then Mike would probably write in the scene that Leslie introduces Mr. David Lee Roth, here to sing California Girls, only to find out that the man she brought up is not the ex-Van Halen frontman, but a dude who juggles devil sticks and has warrants out for his arrest. Getting to play Leslie Knope extended my life by many years, and it is because I was lucky enough to be part of the Mike Schur system. When you're in Mike's system, You are the luckiest duck in the world. You get to do the best work of your career. You get to make lifelong friends. And you're reminded every day that life is a dream, nothing really matters, and getting to make comedy is winning the lottery. A West Hartford boy, Harvard Lampoon president, producer of SNL's Weekend Update, we all thought Mike was making a terrible mistake when he left Saturday Night Live to go write for the American version of The Office. Boy, were we wrong. As we heard, Mike went on to write for, create, and co-produce all of your favorite shows: The Office, The Comeback, Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Good Place, Rutherford Falls, Hacks, A Man on the Inside, and Dig, our upcoming project, which we should be writing right now instead of doing this. We're pretty screwed. We're behind. But Mike is an excellent writer and creator, but most importantly, he's an excellent leader, and I think many of the people here can speak to that. Working with Mike kind of ruins it for forever because it's the best working experience. And I think for many of us, a lot of the stuff that we learned when we worked together, we try to take into our other jobs. Mike delights in the success of others. He encourages creativity. He avoids chaos. He's firm but flexible. He works the hardest of anyone. He thinks deeply about what is the right choice. He respects and understands actors. He respects and understands writers. He fights for our unions. He raises money during COVID. He's a loving father to William and Ivy, and a loving husband to his deeply talented wife and fellow writer, J.J. Philbin. I love you, Mike. I love your system. I'm so glad to be part of it. Congratulations. I know this isn't a big deal, but it's a big deal. It's awesome that your name is on a star forever and ever until the aliens land and the world is over. But here's to another 30 years, and like I've always said since the day that I met you, may your star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame become as popular as the star of rodeo champion Hoot Gibson.
Thank you, Amy Poehler. You know, until you described the process of how people get a star, I had no idea I had so much power. So I'm going to cite you next time we tell a star they can or can't have their star. All right, before we introduce our next speaker, we have a few special celebrity friends of Michael's who are in the audience today. So first, let me introduce a Walk of Famer in her own right, and I had the privilege of conducting that ceremony just a few months ago, Mindy Kaling. Another Walk of Famer, well known to our next speaker, Mary Steenburgen. Actor Andy Samberg. Actress Mary Elizabeth Ellis. Actress Darcy Carden. Actor Max Greenfield. Actor Charlie Day. Actress Lila Rich Creek Estrada. And one of my former colleagues when I was at NBC Universal, and somebody kind of responsible for helping put all of this together, the president of Universal TV, Aaron Underhill. Thank you all for coming. All right, our next speaker is an Emmy and Golden Globe award-winning actor known for an array of exceptional performances, most memorably for his portrayal of Boston bartender Sam Malone on the multi-award-winning and iconic comedy series. What's the name of it? Does anybody know? There were several guesses. I'm not sure any of them were right, but the right answer is Cheers. Cheers ran for 11 seasons and won 3 Emmys as Best Comedy Series. More recently, he played himself in the quintessential comedy Curb Your Enthusiasm, which sadly concluded its 12th and final season on HBO. He also starred in the acclaimed comedy The Good Place, for which he was nominated for his 14th Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor, and received a Critics' Choice Award for his role as Michael. He's recently been seen in starring in the the Netflix comedy series, I'll get it right, A Man on the Inside, written and executive produced by our honoree, Mike Schur. He was nominated for a Golden Globe and a Screen Actors Guild Award for his performance, and the series was thankfully recently renewed for a 2nd season. Please welcome Walk of Famer in his own right, Ted Danson.
Thank you very much. I was told 2 things right before I came up here, both emphatically. You have 2 minutes to speak, and from my wife Mary, this day is not about you, Ted, it's about Mike Schur. She said that twice. I have to admit, I've never gone 2 minutes without talking about myself, but so if I'm a little lightheaded, you'll understand why. Actually, before we talk about my star is number 7021, just up the road here. If any of you want to go look at it while I'm talking about Mike, it's okay. You can do that. A shout out to my beautiful wife, Mary Steenburgen, who also has a star somewhere. I haven't seen it ever, but shout out. Okay, that's my written joke. Here's the real joke. Right before you finished your speech, I went, oh dear God, I have to follow Amy. And Mary went in her supportive way, oh, lots of luck. So here we go, lots of luck. Everybody has mentioned credits, but I think it's important to say them again because The Office, Parks and Recreation, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Good Place, Hacks, A Man on the Inside, and many more. Think about all of the actors that work in those shows, the leads, all the way to the day players. I guarantee you each and every one of them would do anything to come back and work with Mike Schur. We would drop whatever we're doing to come play with him because it is such a thoughtful, meaningful, kind, funny process when you're with Mike Schur. So that's an amazing, I think, testament to Mike, just how many people want to come back and work with him. When you walk into the sound stage in the morning, you see people who have worked with Mike literally 5, 10, 15 years. They plan their schedules, crew members who need to work constantly to make it work, plan their schedule around whatever Mike is doing next because he is collaborative with all the department heads, wardrobe, production design, everybody, camera department, everybody is consulted with as the professional, creative soul that they are. And that makes people want to come back to be with Mike over and over and over again. Okay, if I get just a smidge emotional, I know you didn't want me to, but this is the truth. I just came from the dentist's office and I had a little too much Novocaine, and Novocaine always makes me emotional. I love you with all my heart. If I could work with you forever and ever and ever, I would. Please make that happen. At my age, all I really want to do is go to work and laugh with my friends and do something that's purposeful and meaningful and put something really good out into this world and makes people think and be grateful for being human beings. And you do that all the time. I love you. Congratulations. It is a big deal to get a star. Love you.
Thank you, Ted. He said, for those of you halfway around the world, he said, you're welcome. Okay. By the way, Amy Poehler's mention of Hoot Gibson caused me to do some research. His full name was Edmund Richard Hoot Gibson, just in case anyone was wondering. All right, this is the big moment. Mike Schur, come on up. All right, Mike, before we hear from you, as I said earlier, you know, this is a magical street, a street of innovation and creativity, of dreams, but it's also a real place, real people living here, working here. 10 million tourists come a year to walk the Walk of Fame. But we are in the city of Los Angeles, in the 13th Council District, and our council member, Hugo Soto Martinez, wanted us to present you with a resolution from the city of Los Angeles. So this is a photo op. Everybody hold your breath as we take photos. Which side do you want? Okay, why don't you get on this side so you can be in the photos? We always put the honoree on the outside, so if somebody falls off, it's not me. That away? Okay. This is safer. All right. All right. On behalf of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, it is now my pleasure to announce that today we celebrate Mike Schur Day in Hollywood. Take it away.
Before I read this brief speech, a quick announcement. Andy Samberg wants everyone to know that he got Queen Bee on today's New York Times Spelling Bee, so congratulations. Oh, you said I didn't have to say that. I'm sorry. No hints. Thank you, everyone. This is truly a surprising moment in my life. To be honest, I was not aware that this was an honor that a writer could receive. TV writers get earnestly excited when the lunch order from Chipotle comes with free chips. So you can only imagine how overwhelming this was. So thank you, Hollywood Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, Perlina Ibakwe, Aaron Underhill, Jim, Joanne, everyone at Universal Television, my continuous home since January of 1998, 27 years consecutively. Mr. Beast was born in May of 1998. So my relationship with Universal TV is older than Mr. Beast. That is incredible. I think. I don't really know who Mr. Beast is, and I'm too old to learn, but it sounds incredible. Thank you as well to Bella Bajaria, Tracy and Andy from Netflix, also Matt Rice and Ken Richmond, my producing partners, David Miner and Morgan Sackett, and most importantly, today, Ted Danson and Amy Poehler, two first ballot Hall of Fame actors, and more importantly, two first ballot Hall of Fame people for speaking on my behalf. On the very first day of my professional writing life, day one, literally, at Saturday Night Live, I met my wife, JJ. She makes every day of my life better and more fun and more interesting. We have 2 dogs who love us unconditionally and 2 teenage children who kind of tolerate us. Being a parent is truly, of course, the most rewarding job of all. Last night, I asked my daughter, Ivy, what I should say in this speech, and she looked me in the eyes and she said, "Bro, you haven't written that already? Lock in." And then I asked my son, William, what I should say, and he looked up from his phone and he said, "What do you think the Red Sox will do at the trade deadline?" And I said, "What?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "I asked you what I should say in my speech." And he said, "Oh." And then he just kind of drifted out of the room. In the fall of my junior year of college, I was acting in a play. We were rehearsing a scene. I got frustrated. My friend asked me what was wrong, and I said, "I know how the words should sound, but I just can't make my mouth say them the right way." And that was the first moment I understood that I was a writer. It's what a writer is. You know what the words should be and in what order, and then you let more talented and usually far better looking people actually say them. Writers hide in the shadows and untangle the story. Actors step into the spotlight and make those stories come to life. I am far more comfortable doing the former than the latter, which means, if you think about it, I have spent the bulk of my life trying to avoid the exact situation that I am in right now. Standing on a famous street in a famous city, everyone staring at me, a single bead of sweat rolling down my back as I think about how uncomfortable I am. But yeah, there it goes. Ironically, I found it very hard to figure out what to say today, and I briefly considered getting a punch-up room together. Just throw a bunch of my friends in a room, have them write me some good jokes. It would certainly have improved this speech a great deal, because that's what comedy writers do. Clarify the premise, write jokes, make the script better. But comedy writers also then complain about the actors not delivering those jokes correctly, and since I'm the one delivering the jokes today, I didn't want you all judging me. People say that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Those people are morons. I love what I do, and it's super hard. Riddled with self-doubt all the time. Everyone has imposter syndrome. You bang your head against a wall for months on end, and then ideas float into your brain seemingly from nowhere, with no indication where they came from or how you might go about obtaining another one when you need it. However, and this is why I believe TV writing is the greatest job in the world, you don't do it alone. TV writing, especially comedy writing, is a team sport. Without exception, everything I have ever written has been immeasurably improved by the work of other writers. I have spent the better part of 30 years in various rooms with dozens, hundreds of the funniest people on earth laughing, just straight up laughing. What a privilege to spend that time that way. The second that I learned that comedy writing was a job, it's what I hoped and dreamed my job could be. This odd and wonderful moment is as good a time as any to remember for the millionth time how fortunate a life I have led. I would not trade it for anything. I was, am, and will always be eternally grateful to everyone who made this possible, who taught me how to do the job, who took chances on me. And to any young writer out there dreaming of one day arriving at a moment like this, let me give you one piece of advice. Wear 2 undershirts. You're gonna look a little bulky, but when the beads of sweat soak through the first one, you still have a second one to hide the evidence of how truly awkward you feel when everyone is looking at you. Thank you all so much for this incredible honor.
All right, I think it's enough talking, and it's time to unveil the star. Shall we go down? All right.